Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another highly sought after episode of Big Boy District. It's been a month in the making. We've been recording for a while and we've just edited in all the good parts. So this podcast is sort of just going to play out as a montage. And we
Yeah,
got a
it was
nice
a
picture of Anthony Bourdain here for you too.
it
Sorry, what
was
were
a
you saying?
labor it was a labor of love for sure.
Oh, it was. But yeah, we're really tired because Lord knows this podcasting business is rough. Whenever whenever I hear people who make podcasts talk about, oh man, I this podcast is hard. It's hard on me. I got to wake up at a certain time and I got to get out of bed and I got to get on my computer and talk into a microphone to my friends. I think, damn, that's rough. Don't you?
Yeah, every time I hear about Joe Rogan, I cry a little bit because that guy's life has to be just so hard.
I actually
Found.
holy shit, I just heard a noise. That was nuts. Anyway, as I was saying, so what I want to talk about first, and this just randomly, damn it, do you ever have something pop into your head and then immediately fuck off? And then you're like, okay, I kind of wanted to talk about that, but
Star system charted.
Yeah, I hate that shit. Or when you like walk into a room and even if you're thinking about what you're going to go do while you're in that room, it'll just be like, "Okay, bye." And you're like, "Oh wait, no. What am I doing in here again?" Even though I was literally just thinking of it this second.
Block
same.
clear.
This is one of those times where it,
Whenever shit like that happens, it always really like makes me understand because like you see people go through like dementia and Alzheimer's and shit, and you're like, man, I can't even like wrap my head around that shit. And then little
Star
things like
system
that happen
charted.
that show how fragile your own memory is, and you're like, oh
well,
yeah,
that thought is gone, but I do have another thought. So I've been thinking of ideas for a business lately that we could run together. And
okay,
then how I'm thinking we do this is 40-50 split, and I'm just kind of the idea man. And I figured, since you're Jewish, you're probably good with the finances.
I am not Jewish.
But anyway, here's my idea, or I have three ideas. And my first one is that we start a yard sale consultation firm.
Okay, uh, like we go to
Okay, okay,
yard sales,
okay,
we
okay.
give people advice
Let me
for
let
how
me
to
let me try this again. It's a yard sale consultation firm.
Okay, so like you go to people's yard sales
No, 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 no.
and
We need to buy an office. So think of this in terms of like GTA Online, like the kind like the Sigma Male grind set. We need
are we
to
doing GTA Online?
we need to buy an office somewhere, and it's got to be something kind of nice looking, kind of lawyer-y, kind of dentist-y. Not really dentist-y. I mean, nobody ever, I think,
Ortho-
goes into the dentist and thinks, "Oh
ortho-
man, this place is nice."
well, no, but you know how every orthodontist office is in a strip mall that's kind of sketchy?
Yeah, actually,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
orthodontist.
That'd be a perfect spot. So yeah, we'll just go to like a strip mall, and then we'll buy like a little office, and then it'll kind of probably look like Saul's place in Breaking Bad. But yeah, it's a yard sale consultation firm. So if you're planning on having a garage sale, you come to us and we we lay out the foundation for you. We are the H&R Block of yard sales.
I,
Because let's face it, it's in this bustling economic climate, it can be hard to plan a garage sale by yourself.
yeah, but also no, because you just kind of set out some tables and then put all your shit out on the tables and then you sell it. At what point would someone require a consultation?
Okay, so this is an anecdote. And it's going to sound racist, because maybe it is, but this is just the fact of the matter. This is what I experienced on this day in history. One time, me and my buddy planned our own garage sale with a bunch of just random, like, we were literally kids. We were like 12 at the time, and we were like, yo, let's just get a bunch of our shit together and sell it and see how much money we make. It was actually pretty well done for a couple of dumbass kids, but we set a bunch of shit out on the driveway, and people would come up and look through it, and more often than not, they would just walk away because most of the shit was kind of stupid. At one point, we were trying to like sell like video game cases without video games in them. It was it was pretty funny, but you know, you want to know who showed up to this garage sale? Like 90% of the demographic. I shit you not. It was like Mexicans, just all Mexicans, all Mexicans all the time. Like this could have been a quinceañera in my driveway. But I'll also say this: they always found something to buy, even if it was for like literally pennies on the dollar. But I had like a really broken, like, you know those little kid cars that like little kids drive, and you know, they're like little baby cars. I had a broken one of those from when I was like 2 years old, and some Mexican dude just casually bought it. It was like, okay, cool. I like to think maybe he got it up and running and he just drives it to work. I can't remember.
Yeah, I remember we had a yard sale, and it was pretty much 90% Hispanic people too. It's good deals, man. Cheap shit. People don't want anymore.
It's like they come out of the woodwork too. It's like, where are all these people coming from? Like, you just the pickup trucks start showing up, and then it's like that episode of Family Guy where like fucking the Griffins move into that barn or whatever, and there's like 15 different Mexican families living there, and they're all doing different things. But I have another idea.
Okay, lay it on me.
Penis insurance.
Like, I understand. I just
All right, let me try this again.
no.
Penis
I understand. I get what it is, because I know you're gonna launch it. I understand. You're saying you're gonna insure men's penises, dudes' penises.
Yeah.
So, from what?
Anything. Damage.
Have you ever? How many? Would you buy penis insurance?
Absolutely. If it was as cheap as I'm offering here, like $55 a month.
$55.
Anything happens to your penis, it is literally insured at the hospital. Like, you roll into that shit.
And they just put a new one on, or what?
No, you just give them your card and you're like, hey,
Upgraded.
this is my my Cody and Chase penis insurance card.
Well, how specific do the plans get? I also don't like the fact that my name is plastered on this art.
It's just you and me shaking hands, like as the logo, like Arm and Hammer.
The chasing Cody penis. But so you go into the hospital and they'll take care of you, but like, what does the plans cover? Is it just like damage via violence, like if somebody cut your penis off, or like if I fuck a bitch and I get like chlamydia or something, is that insured? Because that is like, you know, something that happened to my penis.
No, I'm thinking we take kind of like a Fordlandia approach, and we're like, yeah, no, if you get an STD, that's on you, buddy. Sorry.
That'd be like, who would buy it then? Because that's like the most common thing.
Well, I mean, if you get an STD, what do you want us to do? I mean, give you a whole new penis?
If someone gets their dick cut off, what do you want us to do? Give them a whole new penis? Like, it doesn't make sense either way.
We can get you a prosthetic. I mean,
But not if they have an STD. If they have an STD, you don't want any part of it.
no.
Okay. I think I'm out on this one.
If you have an STD, we can surgically remove what you got, and then we can prosthetize you. Prosthetize me, Captain. That's our slogan.
I think you just want a collection of dicks because it doesn't sound like you're fixing these dudes' dicks. It sounds like
Well, no,
no
no.
matter what happens
The
to their penises, your solution is going to be cut them off and then put a prosthetic on.
no the dicks are gonna be classified as like medical waste, so we'll just have to like dump them at wherever they dump dicks. Where do they put that shit?
Pretty sure they send it to a morgue who cremates it, and then it gets
Oh,
disposed of in a
they
different
send
way.
it. They send it to the ghouls.
Well,
The
that's actually
fucking
a really good question. I'm gonna Google that really quick. Is what happens to like medical waste? Like if I get my arm cut off, this is gonna be a really weird Google search. If I get okay, where do amputated limbs go?
they send them to
Patients
my place.
option to donate their limbs to science. However, if they choose not to, hospitals will dispose of limbs as medical waste. Typically, once disposed of, body parts are incinerated. So yeah, they're sent to a morgue that incinerates them.
Okay. But the ones that are not sent to the morgue for incineration, and they're just like, they gave all these other vague, cryptic fucking, oh, it's donated to science. I don't believe that. Somebody's
Yeah,
eating this shit.
yeah, it's got to be going into like some freak's office somewhere, and he has them stored in like pickle jars with like preservatives, and he's just like, yeah, this was Cody Brankin's limb, and now it's in a jar in my office, and I masturbate into it sometimes.
They're sending it to North Korea to try to build the perfect dictator.
The perfect dictator. Ha! 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 What kind of copy you get here on the BBD podcast? Professional dick and ball jokes.
Yep. That's all it is.
That's all it is. You know that one? I hate to keep referencing Family Guy, but you remember that one Family Guy episode where Cleveland is like, "Wait, so what happened?" And Peter's like, "I don't know. It's all just jokes, man."
Oh, yeah. Okay. So you said you didn't have any topics, and I would like you to explain yourself.
Basically, I was going to quit this podcast because I got invited to be on an actual podcast, and then they found out that I wasn't really Jake Paul, and then they were like, "Yeah, you can't be on our podcast if you're not Jake Paul," and I was like, "No, I'm Jay Schlatt," and they were like, "Oh, okay, let's like then you can be on our podcast," and so then they started recording, and my nasally Midwestern voice is obviously not Jay Schlatt's strong, deep East Coast rude boy voice. So they were like, "Yeah, you still can't be on this podcast." And so yeah, I was. I could tell you about what I am prepared to talk about for that other podcast, though. It was a basically a dating podcast, so I was basically just gonna have to ask a random blind date a bunch of questions. Would you like to hear some of the questions?
Yes.
Okay. Would you prefer a long walk on the beach or to be knocked out with cyanide and allow me to harvest one of your kidneys?
Do I get to keep any of the kidney money? Because kidneys go for a
No,
lot.
no, absolutely not. If you ever talk to me again, I will kill you.
Okay. I guess I'll take the beach.
All right, all right. Would you describe yourself as more of a material girl or the kind of girl that could look past all of the torture devices in my basement?
I'm the type of girl who's super into that serial killer, funky true crime kind of shit. So if you could whip out them torture devices and use them on me, that'd be like extra, extra kinky.
Okay, and final question. Would where do you define the line of rape?
Uh, Consent is a 4-letter word.
I don't think that's right.
No part of that made sense.
Yeah, that was a stupid bit. So yeah, the reason I don't have any topics is because I don't really care about this topic, nor do I consider you to be that important. So
I mean, we
yeah,
already had the funeral discussion, so I mean, it's all out in the open. It's all out in the open. But speaking of questions,
Okay.
I actually came up with a segment called BBD Trivia Time, where
Okay.
it's just random world trivia, common knowledge kind of stuff. And I ask the question, and at the end we see how many you get right. And if you get enough right, you win.
Okay. I'm about it.
So, all right, here we go. For question number 1. The ketogenic diet was first created to help treat which of the following illnesses? Is it A, concussion, B, testicular torsion, C, epilepsy, or D, dyslexia?
Oh man. Can you say the options one more time?
A, concussion, B, testicular torsion, C, epilepsy, or D, dyslexia?
I feel like testicular torsion doesn't really make any sense.
Are you sure about that?
I'm gonna say epilepsy.
Hey, you're right. Correct. You got number 1 correct.
Very nice. Very.
Although we also would have accepted testicular torsion because it's funny. Okay, question number 2. In 1876, famous Western folk hero Wild Bill Hickok is murdered in Deadwood, South Dakota by whom? Was it A, Abraham Lincoln, B, John Wilkes Marston, C, Jack McCall, or D, Osama bin Laden?
I saw this episode of Deadwood. Wasn't it Jack McCall?
Correct! Alright, now question number 3.
Into that bar in real life too.
I have 2.
Does
Nut-
it have
I
the
think
sign
it's-
that says the scoundrel Jack McCall or whatever?
yeah, it's got the chair, and then there's like,
But the chair doesn't really make any sense.
it
because,
doesn't. It makes no fucking sense.
Like, the chair doesn't make any sense because it's not really like full backed chair, and it also he was shot in the back of the head, but it's in the back like direct of the chair. It doesn't really make
To
sense.
this day, I'm convinced that somebody just shot the chair, and they were like, hell yeah, this will make for extra cool tourist shit. So here
Okay,
comes...
well, I'm 2 for 2.
Here comes question number 3. True or false? The Underground Railroad is an actual, honest-to-God train that goes underground.
False. False.
Correct.
Yeah,
True
it
or-
was just the name of the network, right?
Sadly, yes. So, number 4. True or false? You're good at math.
False.
Alright. Number 5. What is the full name of the protagonist of Breaking Bad? Is it A,
Oh, well,
Vinny Five Hands, B, Vito Corleone, C, Tony Montana, or D, Walter White?
Walter Hartwell White.
Hey, you actually got his middle name too. Good job. Alright. I also would have taken, honestly, I would have taken any of those other 3.
But
Especially...
none of them fit in the show.
Especially Vinny Five Hands. Would that have ruined Breaking Bad? If like his name was just randomly Vinny Five Hands, but the rest of the show was like super good.
There's this white Anglo-Saxon dude's name is Vinny Five Hands. And he just walks around like, "Hey." And everyone's like, "You're not Italian, dude. Your last name is White."
All right. Question number 6. The 1992 LA riots occurred in response to severe police brutality against this African American man. Is it A, Wesley Snipes, B, Barack Obama, C, Dennis Rodman, or D, Rodney King?
Rodney King.
It was Wesley Snipes.
Are you serious?
No, it was Rodney King.
I was like, that's not true at all. I was like, I know it's Rodney King.
Wesley Snipes probably would have been okay with it, in all honesty.
No, Wesley Snipes like a celebrity.
Yeah, but he's also like, I don't know. Anyway, number 7. This iconic film director has produced several critically acclaimed films such as Double Down, Fateful Findings, and Twisted Pair? Is it Steven Spielberg, James Cameron, Peter Jackson, or Neil Breen?
Neil Breen.
Correct. All right. Question number 8. This is the last question, so this one's worth double points.
What?
True or false? O.J. Simpson. Actually, wait. Hold on. So this is the last
Are you
question.
gonna ask me if O.J. Simpson is guilty?
No. I cut myself off at the wrong point. Okay, so this question is worth all or nothing. You either get double points or you lose all your points.
Okay.
Fair? All right, good. True or false? O.J. Simpson was awarded the NFL's Most Valuable Player Award in 1974.
Okay. Yeah, that's true, right?
False! It was 1973.
Mm,
You lost
so
all your points, sorry. Sucks, too, because you got most of them right. Yeah, whatever. Maybe you'll win the quiz next time. Alright, cool. So what's the next topic? I think he just left the call, but... You know... That's
Dead.
okay.
Dead.
That was some real poor sportsmanship. Alright, now we can jump into the real topics. Are you back in the call yet? Oh, he left the call. He's back in the call! He left the call. He's back in the call. Oh wait, he's not in the call. He's just spamming messages. What the hell? What is this shit? Dead too. Oh, okay.
Okay, I finished destroying my room. You owe me $300 in damages because that was your fault.
Hey, I mean, we could technically make $300 together if we go all in on this yard sale consultation firm.
Yeah, no, your businesses are all weirdly rooted in things from your childhood that don't apply anymore. It just is so weird.
I mean, the penis insurance wasn't.
Yeah, it was because there was more penises in the early 2000s.
What about oh wait, did I even mention my third and final business plan, which was skin pigment alteration?
No, but I don't know if you want to.
We could definitely help people just pick and choose whatever race they want to be going forward. I mean, life is an in-game character creator at this point. And I say, why stop at switching races? If a white person wants to be black, or if a black guy wants to be Japanese, or if a Japanese guy wants to be a spade, or whatever the fuck, why don't we make up our own races? We could market the shit out of that.
You mean a Spaniard?
I don't think what I just said actually exists.
Yeah, you said a Spain.
A
Like,
a
if
spade.
the Japanese guy wants to be a Spain.
No, a spade.
I thought you meant a Spaniard.
I mean, they're real too. I mean, they could definitely get on this. You got me the sexy Spaniard with the French accent, yeah.
I'm a European. The only accent I can do is a French one.
Yeah, we call it C'est la vie skin pigment services. And people come into our office, they fill out a lot of paperwork because there's probably a lot of liability in this industry. I don't know. I'm never going to fucking try it. This is for these other retards, our customers. But yeah, what we do is, have you ever seen Tropic Thunder?
Really unsafe car and is like, yeah, I'm not gonna drive it. This is for you fucking schlubs.
Yeah, remember Tropic Thunder when Robert Downey Jr. was playing the guy who got skin pigment surgery so that he could play a black dude in a movie? That's kind of what we're doing.
I think you're adding extra things to that story.
Not at all. That's exactly what happened. He played an Australian actor, and it was basically a parody on, like, you know, actors who it was a parody on method actors basically. And in the movie, he gets skin pigment surgery so that he can become a black guy and then play a black dude in a movie.
You ever seen the movie White Chicks, bro?
Yeah,
It's a good movie.
it is. That's fucking. That's one of my favorite movies with Martin Lawrence in it, which is oddly specific, but I also really liked him in Bad Boys.
I have a topic that I can segue into real quick. You ready for this? You ready for this? Somebody
Yes.
tried to break into my house last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like it wasn't like basically what happened is we were all just like sitting there and then like somebody like tried the door like a bunch and then as soon as we like turned the lights on, they ran away.
Yeah, people are fucking sucky. Yeah, nowadays, yeah, it's just you gotta be careful with shit because people really do just like lurk around at nighttime, and like it just seems like those Ring doorbell cameras are just like the best thing now.
Yeah, we're probably gonna get one, I think. Like that was my instant suggestion. They were like, "What do we do?" And I was like, "Well, we already have guns, so like, well, what if we just get a doorbell camera?" And they were like, "Maybe."
Life pro tip: if someone breaks into your house and you have a gun, at least in like the state of Colorado, you gotta shoot that motherfucker dead. Because if you wound him, that piece of shit can literally sue you. He can come back and sue you. Like, hey, yeah, I tried to break into this guy's house and he shot me and it really hurt. And I feel like I deserve his money now.
Yep.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's all liberal bullshit, man. It's very strange.
Colorado is just like, I'm just gonna start referring to it as the executioner state.
Don't get me wrong, conservatives are fucking stupid too with their random weird laws, like, but both sides, I don't know. I just feel like both parties in this country are just governing exceptionally badly.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't agree more, actually. It is just an absolutely fucked system. And the more I think about it, the more I think about when George Washington was like, hey guys, let's not do political parties. Let's all just kind of run on our own individual platform. And if people like us, they'll vote. And if not, whatever. And I understand the benefits of parties, sure. But at the same time, like, I just feel like the downside, like, also, I'm like not trying to get political because I'm not a political expert in any way. So don't take anything I say with any level of value. But I think that the two-party system is just has way more negatives than positives, especially at this point.
We need a crazy motherfucker in there. Like I want a schizophrenic president.
I want uh I want a president who's just basically the Crimson Chin. He just comes in and he's like, oh, actually no, we need Spotswood from
Like, wait a second.
Team America.
He just comes in like what?
We for real need like Al Swearingen from Deadwood to be president. Like that would fix everything right now. Just call everyone a cocksucker and be mean. That's what we need. We need a little bit of meanness. We need to flex our mean muscles a little bit more towards the rest of the world.
Fun fact about Deadwood, all that cursing is really unrealistic. And then they tried to do it the way people talked back then, and it just sounded too silly.
Yeah, it sounded too like what's the word? Like gumdrop rainbowy.
Like their version of slander and or not slander, like their version of vulgar language was like saying someone was a silly goose.
That's like part of the genius of that show is how they combine like just blunt, brutal vulgarity with like elegant Shakespearean language. Like a character will like the way they talk in that show is just crazy because like they talk all old-timey where they're all eloquent and they use like prettier words, but they also say fuck and shit and cock every 3 seconds like in the middle of all those words, and it's like it is. I think Deadwood has probably my favorite dialogue in like any piece of fiction ever. Like just the writing and the way the characters interact on that show is just it's so fucking good.
Did we watch the Deadwood movie?
I saw it. I've watched it a couple times.
I think I saw it with you.
It was like it's okay. It's not
A lot of the
great.
actors died, didn't they? And so like they
Yeah.
couldn't really make like a
Powers
very
Booth
yeah.
died, so they couldn't have Psy in it, which really sucked because like Psy was a pretty huge character.
I thought it was so funny how they presented Psy at first like he was gonna be this conniving, scheming fuck, and then it turned out he had the intelligence of like a pencil.
Yeah, he just ends up becoming Hearst's bitch. But the thing with Psy, and I think his whole role in the show, well, he was actually his role was kind of yet to be determined because even the guy who made the show, David Milch, I think that's his name, but he said that Psy's character wasn't actually like gonna reveal itself until season 4, and the show never got a season 4. So we
Well,
never really got to see Psy's full character potential. But
the
like, oh, you can go ahead.
the guy who made that show is kind of the reason it got canceled though, because he was pretty difficult to work with.
I agree with him though because HBO wanted the show to be made cheaper and the show was reaching a point where it had to actually be more expensive because they were getting to like bigger power struggles and war with George Hurst and things that were involving the entire town and the town was going to get bigger and the budget actually had to increase and HBO wanted to decrease it. So what HBO wanted him to do was to write the show to basically be worse so that it would be cheaper to make. And he didn't want to do that. So he was like, "Fuck you, I'm just going to cancel." And in the words of Ian McShane, who played Al, it was just a pissing match between HBO and David Milch, and HBO was just like, we don't want to throw money at this. It was lame. But I guess getting back to like what I was talking about with Cy Tolliver is he like not only was he not very smart, but like I think the big point with him showing up in the show was to kind of illustrate the differences between like him and Al. Because Al is like Al's an asshole, but he's also like he's got a conscience, he's got a heart, and he doesn't just do fucked up things for no reason. And Psy was just kind of like an unabashed psychopath. Like he was just kind of a lunatic.
Yeah, Psy was more just a wild card. Like the Psy is the kind of abusive person that just hurts people by existing near them.
Yeah,
Whereas
exactly.
whereas um Al was a very abusive person, don't get me wrong, but like he also recognized that on a certain level and was constantly like, giving out acts of kindness to kind of alleviate that a little bit. Like he swore up and down he hated that mentally challenged woman who worked for him, but at the same time, like he would constantly be like showing her affection as well. I don't know. It's still abusive, but it's a more like loving
He was
form,
he
I
was
guess.
like he was mean to her sometimes, but he actually kept her there like because he was protecting her, just like Trixie said, because she was crippled. She had fuck, what
Cerebral.
was it? Yeah, it was
No,
something like that. Or
it's it was one of the it was one of those diseases that's kind of mind and body. Like it
yeah, I
affected her developmentally.
I can't think of what it's called, and I feel like a fucking moron, but it's whatever. But yeah, Al was like, I mean, if Al wouldn't have like taken her in, she would have just been like thrown to the wolves and fucking in the Wild West with like shit like that. But then there was that time with the priest too, where like remember the priest who had a brain tumor and he was like slowly dying, and then like he was having those seizures and shit. But then Al takes him in for a little bit and then ends up mercy killing him.
Yeah, yeah.
The thing with
Yeah,
Al,
Al is bad because he has to be, and Sai is bad because he wants to be. I feel
yeah,
like
because Al's got the entire community that he's trying to run, and build, because literally all of Deadwood goes through Al at that point. He's like the main figure. But the thing with Al too is like his character development is nuts because he gets softer and softer as the show goes on until eventually he kind of just becomes not like a good, nice guy really, but you see it, he's less hard on people and he develops more compassion and he eventually reaches the point where he just wants the town to succeed. Of course, for his own selfish purposes, but
Well, also he
nonetheless.
was just getting older and sicklier,
Mm-hmm.
and it's hard to contextualize when you're young and you've never like been really chronically sick and in pain like that. But like when you start to get older, like if you're a violent person, you kind of have to calm down a little bit because you just can't like put your money where your mouth is anymore because you're debilitated. That's such a good show. That's like if that show had been allowed to continue, it would have been about as good as Breaking Bad in my opinion.
Oh god, seriously. It was about to get like super good. Like I feel like season 4 would have been like insanely good if it wouldn't have been canceled. Because that's when the conflict really started to develop, was at the end of season 3. Because they go through all this shit to basically save the town from Hearst. And then he leaves, and then Tolliver goes crazy because he can't handle the fact that he just got cucked by Hearst, basically.
Have you ever seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Yeah.
That show is not what I was expecting because you see, that's one of those shows that just gets memed a lot. Like there's a lot of meme templates out there
Oh
that
yeah.
originate from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, like that one of Charlie Day, like standing in front of all those like standing in front of the like schizo board,
Oh yeah.
the insane look on his face, and there's all the red lines connecting the pictures in the background. Hello?
Oh. Hello?
Did you hear what I just said?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. But basically that show is like I was just expecting kind of a regular run-of-the-mill sitcom about a group of friends who run the bar. But holy shit, it's literally just about if the worst people ever owned a bar. All of the characters are just bad people, and it's kind of hilarious.
Oh yeah. That's part of what makes the show funny, but like at the same time you're just like, man, I'm so glad I don't know anybody like this in real life.
They are even harming each other like constantly. Like there's so many scenes where one of them will be like outright injured and the rest of the group will just be like negligently not calling 911 or just making fun of them. It's like could you imagine if you were like this is a real example out in this in the show. If you were like a pregnant woman like who was friends with this group of dudes and you went on a road trip and in the middle of the woods your car broke down and then you twisted your ankle and all of them were just refusing to help like in any meaningful way. Like there's been more than one occasion where I'm watching that show and I'll get stressed out because the characters are just so shitty to each other.
Okay, here's a topic. This is a good one. Actually, shit, I'm torn between two different topics. I guess I'll just luck of the draw. I'll talk about this one first. Do you remember your first experience with a horror game?
You cut out there. What did you say?
Do you remember your first experience with a horror game?
Uh, mm, I do because I was ridiculously old. Because my parents were the type where they literally didn't let me play M-rated games until I was 17.
Hey, they're just following ESRB rules and regulations.
So I'm pretty sure it was the first Outlast. I'm not gonna lie.
That game actually, like, when I first played it, that game scared the shit out of me. I remember one night we were at Gray's house, and I think, like, me and I, I feel like Aaron was there too. Me, Aaron, I think Aaron, and then definitely Judah and definitely Gray, because we were at his house. We like sat there in the dark and we I think beat the entire game on his giant fucking like dude Gray, like his dad was loaded. So he had like a nice ass house and he had like the most ginormous TV I've ever seen. It was nuts.
I
Oh,
remember that.
but
I
like yeah,
remember that.
we sat there and I think played all of Outlast and it scared the fucking shit out of us. It was like we had to alternate between like me and Judah, I think, because like no one else wanted to play. It's not really
Yeah,
that scary of a
always
game.
the game pick, though. Judah was always like, I'm not sure if this game is going to be any good. Judah, you play it. And he'd be like, nah, fellas, like, somebody else play. And we'd be like, nah, dude, you play. We would, like, it was like a rule we would enforce with certain games, like Dead Space. Like, the rule was Judah plays this, and he would try so hard to get any of the rest of us to play it, and we would all be like, no, dude, no. This is the Judah playthrough of Dead Space.
I know, it was just fun to watch him. I remember like when he beat the first one, he was like, "All right, cool, finally." And then we were like, "Uh-oh, Judah, you forgot about the sequel. You still got a whole nother game to do, buddy."
Oh, give me 1 second. My boss is calling me.
I am your boss. Sorry, I'm pocket dialing. All right, so I'm going to fill this dead air by singing you guys a little song. Now, this is a song you may have heard before. A song about life. Life. Everyone has AIDS. 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 Alright, we've reached the end of our story. And everyone's died of AIDS. And I don't have any way to fill this dead air time. I could do an entire topic by myself. Should we do a topic without Chase? How fucking funny would that be? So what's your guys' take on this whole Dylan Mulvaney, am I even saying that name right? Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light thing. Where she's like, or he or she or them or they or who, what, where, when, why, how, I guess is like the owner of Bud Light. I'm just joking. I'm like, I have next to no knowledge about this situation, but it's pissing people off on Twitter, dang nabbit. And if it's pissing people off on Twitter, you're probably going to hear about it here at some point. You know what else is pissing people off on Twitter? Elon Musk just existing. Granted, he is making some pretty like super duper retarded changes to the platform for like no reason, but Elon Musk doing Twitter is it really reminds me of like Jack Skellington trying to do Christmas in Nightmare Before Christmas. He's trying to make it work, but he's not doing a very good job, and no one's really that into it. So, there we go. You know what? You know what name I hate? I've always hated this name since the dawn of time, since I was a child. The name Todd. Oh, hey, what's your name? Oh, I'm Todd. Fuck off with that shit. Get yourself a real stupid name, like Keith. Keith, that's a shitty name. Keith. It doesn't roll off the tongue very well either, you know, like Keith. It's one of those words that like tries to like get stuck in your mouth when you try to say it. Like when you try to say the name Keith, it like rescinds back down your tongue towards your throat. Like it's just a word that does not want to come to fruition. Keith. Yeah, it's like it's hard to say. It's like it gets trapped on your teeth or something. Whatever. All right. Well, I'll just man, this is quite the little segment. This is the solo segment you've all been waiting for. Solo segment where I just sit here and talk about life to myself. So I'm just scrolling through Twitter right now. What the Okay. But yeah. All right, I'm going to move on to a topic, I guess, cuz I can't think of I can't pull any more magic bullshit out of the air to talk about. Would you guys like an update on my physical well-being? I could like stick a quick finger up my ass and tell you what I find. Who knows? The problem with me using one of these topics is that I'm going to have to talk about it again. You know? So here, let's do something together. How long has how long have we been running here? Only 46 minutes, okay. I kind of felt that in my bones. You know? After a while, you develop a sixth sense for how long you've been recording, even though you fucking, yeah. So anyway, what I was going to what I was gonna say in regards to this horror game shit, Resident Evil 1 was the first horror game that I ever played. And it's, I think it was actually like the first video game I ever played in general. But, yes.
Okay, I have returned.
That was really good timing. I actually like just ran out of ideas
Oh
for.
no, I was listening. I was just also on the phone with my boss.
Damn, that must have been jarring. I hate listening to like two different voice sources at once.
Yeah, I hate how they put me in charge of training this really old man on how to do stuff on the computer, and he's just been literally inundating me with fucking text messages.
That sucks. You should be like, hey man, there's this thing called Windows support. Call their number. You'll get a very nice Indian guy. He'll be like, yes, Control Alt Delete. Okay. Okay, cool. I had to like retrace the steps of the conversation we just had to catch up. But anyway, the first horror game I ever played, and also like I think the first video game ever that I played was Resident Evil 1 on PS1. And I was probably like 5 or 6, because like obviously like the PS1 was my dad's and like the games were his at that point. I was a fucking baby, so I couldn't afford my own games, but yeah, that was the first one I played, and as a kid, that game scared the absolute fuck out of me. Like, even with those pixelated, shitty-looking PS1 graphics, like, at the time, we thought those graphics were amazing. So, like, I remember the first time I tried to actually play that game by myself. I booted up the PS1, I got the fucking shitty wired controller, and I was like, yeah, because, like, I played it with my dad the night before, so I was like, yeah, I'll try to play this by myself. I made it to the very first zombie that you find when you go into that, like, bedroom, and, like, he's, like, down on the floor eating one of your teammates, and then he gets up, and he turns and he looks at you, and that scared me so bad that I paused the game and walked away, and I didn't go back to it for another probably 6 years. Literally the first zombie, I was like, alright, I'm done.
I'm really sorry, man. My boss is like blowing me up right now. Like, give me like 5 minutes. I'm trying to figure out what the fuck is going on.
It's all good. I'll just stop the recording for now.
Okay, give me like.
Hey everybody, we're back. Sorry, we had to take a shit. Like, we both had to take a shit.
You want to hear about this bullshit? You want to hear about this bullshit?
Actually, what happened was you took one of my shits, and I was like, you can't take one of mine. The weekend's coming up.
Here's what happened. So there's two dealerships there's two offices, I guess, for the company that I work for. One in Denver and one in Loveland. They hired a new guy up in Loveland to do my job, like my counterpart. You know what I'm saying? So I go up to Loveland to train him, and it's like a 95-year-old man. And keep in mind, my job requires like computer knowledge and shit. So I have spent the past week, ever since I went up there to initially train him, talking to this dude on the phone because he just can't wrap his head around computers.
I feel like he's probably not gonna last.
I told my boss that, and he was like, well, we got to give everyone a chance. And I was like, no, we don't.
The good news is, I remember exactly what topic we left off on. It was horror games. And we were talking about our first experiences.
I'm going to ask ChatGPT how to talk to you because I can't figure it out.
ChatGPT is just like, I don't know, I hate the fucking
What do
guy.
I say to this guy? What do I say to this guy, Chat? ChatGPT says that I need to say to you, try being polite to your friends. They're very, very good to you. What the fuck is this flowery bullshit? I'm not going to be polite to this asshole.
So,
What do I say to make this guy hate me?
I've already told this story. I actually just told it prior to when we split it. But that first zombie in the very first Resident Evil game on PS1 scared me shitless. Absolutely shitless. And that was my first notable horror game experience. I was like, I'm going to try to play this game all by myself. And then the very first enemy made me pause the game and quit. But you know what? That's okay. So, Resident Evil 4 just got a remake, and everyone's saying that it's just fantastic.
Yeah, I don't care about remakes. I want new.
See, that's like how I felt, but all these remakes that are coming out lately are just so fucking good. So it's like I'm conflicted. It's like, yeah, obviously I'd rather have like new shit, but man, these remakes are so good. They're actually putting effort into them instead of just like, all right, here's your graphics. Graphics. I mean, don't get me wrong, the graphics are incredible too, but
Well, don't they do like a lot of times, like for the Resident Evil ones? I know, don't they like re-record all the voice dialogue too?
yeah, and they overhaul the entire gameplay because like the old Resident Evil games were, you know, they had the set camera angles and they ran on like tank controls, but obviously the remakes just turned it into like, you know, regular over the shoulder third person. You can control the camera and like it just handles kind of like a normal third person game, which is great because the controls in the old ones were rough. And I know a lot of Resident Evil super fans would be like, the tank controls were great because they added to the fear factor and the, like, I guess tense nature, but like I don't like struggling to control my character's basic movements. It's not fun.
Yeah, that's why I don't like most older games. I can't stand how clunky they always are.
Yeah, and then there's like the Dead Space remake, which was really, really, really good. I don't know. I'm pretty hyped to play the Resident Evil 4 remake. If anything, just because I haven't played the original in a really, really long time. I think So I think going into the remake, I'll probably be like even fresher. Fresher. Did you just send me the lyrics to Darude Darude Sandstorm?
Yep. So, can you summarize the Resident Evil games in 3 sentences or less?
Big company evil because they do experiments, then create zombies. Main characters end up in shitty situations where they have to survive, and then they eventually go after evil company.
That was 2 really long run-on sentences, so I have to detract a couple points, but overall, good job.
The Resident
Here's
Evil
your
games are also like really cheesy, and they don't take themselves super seriously.
Yeah, I never liked those games. I don't know. I never well, I guess I should say I never tried those games particularly hard.
Yeah, that's how I feel with Devil May Cry, like that whole franchise. It's not that I don't like it, it's just that I've never played it. So like I'm like super uneducated about those games. I hear they're good, but one of these days I'll play Devil May Cry because people
There's
rave about them.
I feel like especially like still to this day to a certain extent, but especially when we were growing up, there was like a lot of saturation in the gaming market.
Oh yeah.
So there's just like a lot of games where people will be like, "What? You've never played this?" And I'm like, "Bro, like no, I didn't."
There is a there's a fucking I want to say it's Bruce from Funhouse where he would always upload like him playing a game. He'd be like, "I've never played this before." And at first I was like, "Oh man, that's cool. Bruce has never played, Fallout New Vegas or whatever, and he's playing it for the first time." But then he started doing it with like every game ever, and I was like, "Holy shit, bro. I thought you had like a career in gaming and you've like never played any of these?" I was like, "Damn. This is kind of jarring."
Yeah, like I said, I feel like it just has a lot to do with just especially like mid 2000s to early 2010s. There was just like hundreds and hundreds of games like releasing every year. It seems like you remember how massive the like Xbox 360 and PS2 and PS3 sections in the game and GameStop were.
Oh yeah.
Like it just there's a lot of games that released for those systems, I feel like.
Jeez. Jesus. Who the fuck burped into the microphone just now?
Oh man, there's usually like a third voice that I hear like off to the side.
No, we have a third guy. I mean, we're gonna have a third guy soon. We need to hire that one guy who's on every podcast that just laughs hysterically at every joke, and that's like his role.
We need a genie. We need someone who's off screen who does all our Google searches for us.
Yeah, like for me, like just say that like just imagine that what I'm saying right now is a joke leading up to a punchline, and then punchline. And then we have a guy who goes, and then he like adds a little something while he's laughing. He like says something.
That sounded more like a clown getting fucked.
It sounded kind of like a fat guy choking on a steak. At least he's dying
No,
happy.
it sounded like a clown getting fucked.
What else was I gonna fucking say? Oh yeah, I haven't played the Resident Evil 4 remake yet, but I'm going to, and then I'll report my findings. Everyone's saying that it's super good. So if I guess maybe if I disagree with the entire internet, Resident Evil 4 has always been like everybody's favorite in the series, just because it's like really fun and wacky, and the story is like super just like it's good, but it's also goofy because you're playing as Leon, and he's just like suddenly in special forces, and he gets sent on a mission to go save the president's daughter from like fucking basically Transylvania. Like you go to like Europe, and all like you go to this village and all these people are all fucked up and it's all culty and creepy. And then you find Ashley and then you gotta like protect her and get her through the rest of the game. And I don't know, it's really good. Like the story is just really like it's campy in a good way. It's got that kind of like B-rated horror movie thing.
So
It's fun.
I'm gonna lay down a segue based off of what you just said. Are you open to such a thing happening?
Yes.
All right. So you're not like based on like yeah. Fuck, I'm losing it. I took too many down. No, here we go. So my bad. So there's a lot of like stuff up from games of that era too that I remember about like presidency, the presidency being a big part of like things. You remember that one scene in that one Call of Duty Zombies where like President Kennedy goes and kills zombies? Like
Oh
that
yeah.
one really epic cutscene. What's that from?
I can't remember. I know what you're
I think
talking
that's
about
from the
though.
first Ops, right?
I think it was actually, yeah, because the Black Ops 1 had the like the actual like Pentagon zombies map. I think that probably would have made sense.
Didn't the Pentagon become a thing when yeah, it was the first Black Ops. So like I remember that. I remember in Saints Row you play as the president of the United States.
Yeah, literal like that was like Saints Row. Was that
Or
three or four? Yeah,
or
yeah. You literally play as the fucking president. You play as the president in what's that one game that like mech game? I keep wanting to
um
say like fucking Transformers America, but that's not. Oh wait. Oh, it's just on the tip of my tongue. It's like Lone Wolf Gundam Unicorn or something crazy.
I think I know what you're talking about. Do you remember the Destroy All Human games?
Oh, those were so good. I love
Do
those
you
games.
remember how the whole point of the first one was to like infiltrate the presidency and like to infiltrate the pet presidency, and then in the beginning of the second one is that the alien who infiltrated the presidency went AWOL and is just doing a bunch of drugs and hookers. It's
Dude, that's like the whole plot of Splinter Cell Conviction was like the bad guys are trying to kill the president and their plan was so ridiculously convoluted. Like instead of just like, using a sniper rifle or something, they're like, "Okay, let's use an EMP bomb and pretty much just blackout nuke the entire city of Washington D.C. And then we'll send an army of our dudes to the White House and there's just like an all-out war and then we'll fight our way to the president and it'll be easy because we wiped out all the power in the entire city with a bomb." And it's just like, guys, your plan has like a lot of steps. Like I get that you're trying to like kill the president. It's not like a small ask, but why do you gotta drag the entire city into it with like an EMP bomb? And like
so in all of video games, in all of media, who's your favorite fictional president?
let me think.
Mine is Morgan Freeman from pr- that one Doomsday movie. I can't remember.
Have you ever seen the movie Mars Attacks?
No, but I've heard of it.
So in that movie, the president is played by Jack Nicholson, and he just does not give a flying fuck about anything. Like the aliens show up, and he's just like, when the aliens start killing people, he's literally just like, "Can we all just get along?" And then the aliens are like, "Rah rah, rah
Dude,
rah."
we should watch this movie.
It's actually pretty fucking hilarious. And
Yeah, we
then
should watch this movie.
and then he just gets blasted by the aliens because he's like the most laid back, just like fuck this job president ever in that movie.
Well, here I got. So when I was showing streaming my game of Stellaris earlier, did you look at it all? Did it come through clearly?
Yeah, a little bit.
We should watch. Like that means if my streaming is working on Discord for once, we should try to watch this over Discord sometime.
Oh yeah.
Make a little review. That could be a new segment on the podcast. Movie reviews.
Yeah, we could also talk about the everyone's new favorite movie, the Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light movie.
Oh my god. I'm so sick of hearing about this. It's
It
a someone I've never heard of, and it's a terrible beer, so who cares?
Bud Light really like that's kind of the bottom line, isn't it? Like Bud Light just sucks.
And everybody knows it. Who drinks Bud Light except for people who are too poor to afford anything else?
Yeah, I'll tell you something about welcome to
Who
Bud Light
is
Ranch.
Bud Light?
Would you go to a place called Bud Light Ranch if you knew that Guy Fieri himself was going to be there?
And who is Dylan Mulvaney?
I don't really know, but I know the entire internet fucking hates her or him or them or where or when or who where.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why people get so worked up about corporate bullshit that is literally just designed to work them up.
Yeah,
So I,
it's it's all just designed to make you want to drink a cold Bud Light. Somehow. Somehow.
when was the last time you purposefully bought or spent money on Bud Light?
Uh so the one and only time I bought Bud Light was like when I first turned 21. And I was like, all right, I better buy beer. It's like, I have to. And for some reason, I bought Bud Light. I don't know why I did it. I don't know why I did it. I'm just glad that it was like really late at night, so nobody caught me.
Disgusting.
But
I've never been more disappointed in you.
this is a brief topic, but I would like to touch on this because it's very important. It was a big cultural movement. The cultural movement of Elden Ring. I started replaying it. I'm on my 4th playthrough of this game, and it's still so good. Like it's one of
The playthrough where you're like recording it, right?
yeah. I actually just finished recording the commentary for the first video. Finally, progress has been made.
Oh,
I
so
just have
you're
to
doing
edit it.
it like you're not doing like a live let's play, you're doing it like
Yeah, I'm
take
doing
the
it.
game.
I'm doing it pretty much the same way I did it with Dead Space, because then it's easier to like focus on the gameplay when you're actually like playing it, and then you could be a little bit better. Because trying to be entertaining and talking while playing is like, don't get me wrong, it's fun, but it's also kind of difficult because you have to like mentally juggle different things because it's like, oh, I gotta talk pretty much the whole time and I gotta make jokes and I also gotta like not suck at the game because like if you suck at the game then that's not good. So I don't know, I think like for certain things I kind of prefer doing like post commentary because then you can just kind of roll off and talk about whatever you want. It's very liberating. And
Dude,
talk about the hookers I've killed.
get your tiny girlish liberal hands off my fucking rifle.
But I just think Elden Ring is very, very quality, very
So
good.
tell me more about this Eldar Ringo. Who is the director?
George R. R. Martin.
No.
Just joking.
I'm sure they had one together one time.
I still don't have like a clear idea of what he did. I mean, I heard that he, I guess, wrote the lore, and then From Software like crafted the narrative around that somehow.
What did George R. R. Martin contribute to Elden Ring?
I've also heard that he pretty much named everything, so I think he had a fair role in crafting the story, but
You pretty much hit it right on the nose. You pretty much crafted the world building and lore, and then From Software created a story out of that.
lazy bastard George. But there are actually some things in the game that do have like George R.R. Martin written all over it. Like for instance, you go to this place called War Master's Shack and you meet a guy named Bernal, and he is just the most Game of Thrones ass character you will ever meet. Everything down to his voice, like the way he talks. He sells you Ashes of War, which are basically like it's like magic skills that you can put on your weapons. He's such a fucking Game of Thrones ass. He really is. There's also shit in the game like literally like the finger maidens and the two fingers. That's very George R.R. Martin.
So we've talked a lot on this podcast, I feel like, about what you love about Elden Ring. Do you have any like criticisms for the game?
Oh yeah. There are recycled bosses, which like in a game as big as Elden Ring, I think it's more okay for them to like recycle bosses than it is in a game like Dark Souls or Neo. But there are some recycled bosses, and they're like always kind of lame, you know? You just kind of roll in, and you're like, all right, I already beat this guy once. I guess I'll do it again. But I don't know. There's weird little like design things that are just kind of common with every From Software game that I don't really like. I don't really like the way that side quests are handled in From Software games, and like with Elden Ring sometimes I think it's kind of cool because there's like a mystery and there's a sense of discovery to it, but I don't like how like for NPC quest lines you have to like be in certain places at certain times to meet up with certain people and talk to them, and then if you fuck up, you know, certain parts of that process, you end up breaking the quest. Like, you know, in most games when you're doing like a side quest, there's like a, you know, waypoint system or some sense of direction where the game is like, all right, now you got to go here and do this. And I think it's cool that Elden Ring doesn't have that, but at the same time, so like you're never ever gonna complete any of the side quests without a guide. Like you pretty much need online guides for the vast majority of the side quests. And like that's not like a huge problem. Like if you're doing a first time playthrough, you just go in blind and be okay with the fact that you're gonna miss stuff. You're definitely not gonna like 100% the game on your first blind run unless you're sucking on Google's boobies the whole time. But I don't know, the game is just it's really really good. There's I guess in terms of combat, one criticism that I have is that the boss fights, some of the bosses have a feature that I consider to be unfair, and that's input reading, which means that the boss actually knows what buttons you're pressing and is able to like have split-second reactions to that. And for most bosses, it's fine and it's not even noticeable, but there are other bosses where it kind of veers on the edge of bullshit. But yeah.
So, and then when you, sorry, just like saying, referring to something you said at the beginning, when you say recycled bosses, you do mean like the exact same boss? Like name and everything played against again?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And it makes
Yeah,
sense too, because like for one of the recycled bosses is called what is it, a tree spirit, or is it a tree avatar or something? It's the tree monster bosses, and it kind of makes sense that you run into more than one because they're basically like, you know, that's just part of the lore. There's more than one of them, but yeah.
I know in games like Jedi Fallen Order, which is like baby's first Dark Souls in terms of gameplay, um, you would run into the same bosses sometimes, but usually they would only be bosses the first time you ran into them, and then as your character like leveled up and skilled up, they would appear in like
They
larger
get
groups.
yeah, they get like knocked down to normal enemy status.
Yeah.
Yeah, Elden Ring does that too.
Okay.
But what's cool is you still get like boss level rewards for beating them, even though they still count as like normal enemies. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of criticisms with the game. I mean, I guess like uh, uh I don't know, like it's the game has a lot more story than like any other From Software game. Like you're constantly like meeting people. You're always running into NPCs and they're always like, "Hey, what up? Let's talk." And they probably have some kind of a side quest relation. Oftentimes in like Elden Ring, you know, when you meet a character, they don't just like give you a side quest, but usually like the act of meeting them and befriending them sort of like pulls you into a quest. But it's never like something like Skyrim where you go up to someone and they're like, "Oh, hello, traveler. Would you like to go do something for me?" In Elden Ring, it's usually like you run into someone and then you're like thinking in the back of your head like, "Yeah, I'm probably gonna run into this person again later."
Would you say that feels more organic?
Oh yeah, for sure. There's this one guy that you meet named, I think his name is Yura. He's like Bloody Hunter Yura. And the first time you meet him, he's standing by this lake in Limgrave, like the starting area. And he's like, "Hey, if you don't want to die, don't go anywhere near this lake because there's a big-ass dragon that flies around." And sure enough, if you go into the lake, there's a bunch of like undead people that have like a shrine set up in the center of the lake and they're like worshiping the dragon. And if you go over to it, the dragon just comes barreling down and kills everybody. And then it turns into a boss fight. But the dude Yura, after you kill the dragon, you can meet back up with him in a different spot. And then he's like, "Oh, did you kill that dragon? That was pretty fucking cool." And then, like, you kind of become friends with him. And then later, you can find his summon sign on the ground in the Academy of, what is it, Rhea Lucaria. It's basically fucking Hogwarts. It's like the big magic school. It's gorgeous, too. But you find his summon sign there, and that's, like, him summoning you for help in a fight. So if you let him summon you, you help him take down this, like, other random NPC. And then, like, his quest line just kind of goes on from there. But it's so cool. Like, there's just so much to fucking do and find. It's amazing. All the just little pieces of interconnected lore and shit. It's such a fun game.
Fuck yeah.
Call me Remembrance of the Star Scourge. Because that's the item that I picked up from Rodan a few hours ago when I beat him.
Are you still playing Elden Ring on the PS4?
No, I'm playing the PS5 version now.
Did it come with the PS4 version?
Yeah, it did actually. I didn't even have to spend money.
Yeah, I know they were. I'm probably gonna get a PS5 soon, but they're still somewhat hard to find. Not impossible anymore, but not as easy as it should be.
Actually, if you can just get them from Sony now. That's what I did. If you go on Sony Direct, you can just order one from them.
Fuck yeah.
They ship it in like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, that's probably how most things are gonna be in the coming future. Is just buying things straight from online stores of the manufacturer, because like brick and mortar stores are just going bye bye and Amazon sucks.
Yeah, Amazon had some okay deals on like PS5 bundles, but bundles were all you could get. Like literally, they don't have just like the base console. At least last time I checked, you could only get like the Ragnarok bundle, which the Ragnarok bundle was a good deal because like you could save like $50 on the actual game with the bundle.
Yeah, I really like the whole $70 game thing.
I don't either, but like the more I think about it, it's like it was gonna head this way at some point just because of inflation. Like prices on video games have just somehow dodged inflation for years and years up to this point. And now it's finally like, all right, guys, sorry, but it's more expensive. Obviously, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't support it, but I guess it makes sense. But yeah, I hate spending more money on games.
I hate how our economy is just geared towards constant inflation. It's really annoying.
Seriously.
Like I wish it would stop inflate. Like inflation, you learn about it in school and they teach it to you like it's a bad thing, and then you realize that's all our economy does is inflate.
Inflate. Inflate. And then you get less and less of everything, and everything gets smaller. It's so cool. It's such a sick deal.
When I was working at a restaurant, I was the manager, and over the 4 years that I worked there, we went from having really good prices and serving fresh food that we prepped every day to being really expensive and selling like frozen shit and shit out of a can. And that's pretty much every restaurant now. More expensive
Yeah.
quality. And it's like, why? 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 Why?
Alright, well. Have you ever heard of, Uncle Joe's Animations?
Nope.
I think he just goes by Joe now on YouTube, or some other, like, name that I can't quite remember. I'd have to look it up. But he used to be Uncle Joe, and this guy was in, or not was, I guess, you know, is an extremely, extremely popular animator on YouTube. Like, just for reference, his most popular video has like 79 million views. Like, he is really ridiculously popular, and he pretty much did like parody content, and he would just make like, you know, animations that were really, really good and funny, and people loved it, and he got popular because of it. But lately, it came out that he's like really, really unhinged, or something. Something is just going on with him, because he has been like caught in like random people's DMs just talking mad shit about like other animators. Like he absolutely hates just every other animator on YouTube. Like he has beef with everyone apparently. Like he really hates Smile, that show Smiling Friends with Zach and Michael Cusack, or
You said his name is Uncle John?
Uncle Joe.
Yo.
And yeah, he just like really fucking like he says shit like, "Oh, I could fucking make better drawings with my ass." Like he just absolutely fucking hates every other animation channel. But if you go to his channel now, it's literally nothing but like
Rick and
super
Morty.
awful, like, yeah, low effort Rick and Morty parodies. And if you actually watch them, they are just so unhinged and like bizarre and bad, and it kind of seems like somebody having a mental breakdown being expressed through Rick and Morty.
This is really weird. Yeah, you're right. This is very strange.
And then he was doing like a Twitch stream at one point, and there were people in chat that were like donating to him, and they're like, "Hey, sorry that it like kind of seems like you're going through some shit right now. Hopefully it all gets better." And then he would just immediately be like, "Shut the fuck up, fuck you!" Like, you're like, "Damn, man."
Why is what is Rick and Morty's main appeal? Because I've always found it to be pretty good at best and middling most of the time.
Morty, we gotta go. We gotta go get my time box, Morty. Morty, without the time box. It's funny because he can't stop burping between words.
Dude, it's cause drunk and drinking and he's a nihilist.
It's funny because wubba lubba dub dub.
Bubba lubba dub dub.
Although I don't think we can shit on Justin Roiland anymore, actually, because didn't all those accusations just get like, I mean, didn't he just get vindicated on everything?
I don't know. Let me look it up.
I'm pretty sure all those charges got dropped, and he's innocent. And if that is indeed the case, then I apologize for immediately not being on his side.
The prosecutor drops charges against Rick and Morty co-creator Justin Roiland due to having insufficient evidence to prove him guilty in his case.
Okay, well, I guess maybe that means we don't owe him a full apology. Just kidding.
I mean,
YouTube, the cartels are bad.
either way, bro. I don't give a fuck either way, bro.
I don't support the cartels, bro. Just gotta make sure YouTube knows
Bro,
that.
stop bringing up goddamn the Mexican cartels, bro. Okay, bro?
How do you
Stop
know?
it.
How do you know they're Mexican cartels? They could be Colombian cartels.
I don't care. I don't want them angry.
They could be. They could be the Romanian Tate cartels.
I
Andrew
am
Tate.
something of an FBI.
So, have you ever heard of DSP? DSP Gaming, Dark Side Phil.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't. That's all I know. It's like, that's as far as my knowledge goes.
So, Dark Side Phil is my favorite lolcow. So, for anyone out there who doesn't know who Dark Side Phil is, pull up a blanket, grab a snack, get nice and cozy, and listen to a bedtime story. So, Dark Side Phil was one of the very first gaming YouTubers like ever. He was one of the first people on the platform, and he made his videos by pointing a camera at his TV while playing a game, because capture cards weren't really a thing yet. So he would make his videos by just taking a video camera, plopping that sucker down in front of his TV, and then he'd play a game. Okay, so he never got a capture card. He just kept filming his TV with a video camera when capture cards eventually did become a thing. So people weren't really too happy about that, because at this point he had a pretty big fan base and he was kind of taking off on the platform. And he wasn't like putting any effort into like investing into a better setup or, you know, taking anything seriously. So what happened was Phil developed a reputation for being terrible at games. He was just not good at the thing that he was supposed to be good at. And he would have like really funny like rage meltdowns when he'd play games. But like the funniest thing that happened with Darkside Phil is when he got caught jerking off on stream. And he somehow didn't realize that his stream was already on. So he's literally sitting in his chair, choking the chicken on camera. And then he tried to play the whole thing off. Like he was literally like, all right, you know what? I'm just going to find the clip and play it on the podcast. I'm just going to Google DSP. God, sorry, I can't type because my microphone is obstructing my keyboard. It's too much to explain. DSP gaming jerking off. All right, here we go.
Yeah, gaming caught jerking off on stream.
Here we go. How is this a 5-minute
Guys,
clip?
I don't usually make videos like this.
All right, I don't want it.
So I want. So that.
Okay, well, this is like
Yeah,
news
another
coverage of the
chance.
event. I don't want
Give
news
me-
coverage. I just want the literal. Oh my god, this is DSP cringe compilation. Why is it so hard to just find the video that I'm obviously looking for? I don't get it.
Ah!
But yeah, there was that. But anyway, the thing with DSP now is that his whole brand is just shaming his fans and emotional manipulation, and he's always saying shit like, "Oh, you guys better start donating, or I'm not gonna play this game anymore." Shit like that, and it's just like, God, what? He just pulls the pathetic card constantly.
Imagine that being your thing.
Seriously, him and Wings of Redemption and Boogie, whatever the 2988, I think.
Whatever.
I guess Boogie's like training to fight somebody. He's gonna get in a fight at Creator Clash, or
Bro,
I think.
Did you see that clip of Charlie like arguing back or clapping back at Sneeko, and he whipped out his guns? Like
Oh,
his
yeah.
literal, and he was like, "These are mags, you goddamn idiot."
The internet was so like flabbergasted by that.
Charlie has weapon. but he seems like such a fun little guy.
That's actually kind of crazy to think about.
I mean, but like, we've seen videos of him shooting his guns before, haven't we?
I don't know.
Like, I don't know. I remember watching that and being like, damn, Charlie. And expecting the internet to be like, yeah, look at Charlie clapping back. But everybody was just more focused on the simple fact that he owned the gun.
Yeah. I don't know, people didn't he like do a video with Sneeko or something where they had like
Yeah,
a
that
debate or
was
whatever?
really awkward and hostile because they were both just like, no, no.
I don't know anything
Like,
about this Sneeko guy except for like I guess he lets his wife fuck other dudes and like says that he regrets it but just does it anyway and it's like
yeah, he
uh
by the humiliation of it, but he also like he was the guy back when like that stupid Netflix thing Cuties was coming out and Charlie
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
he was the guy he was like that show's main defender. He was like this show highlights real issues in our society and makes us take a good hard long look at it. And Charlie was kind of just like, I think this guy just might, you know, like this type of shit. And then yeah, but anyway, the video of them talking was literally just an hour and a half of them debating, and Sneeko being like, "Fuck you," and Charlie being like, "Hey man, like you gotta listen, like what you're saying is bullshit." And like Charlie definitely won the argument, but it's just like, bro, leave this man's alone. Like, leave everybody, just leave each other alone. Why do we got to get so up in each other's faces? Like, remember that Act Man drama from a few months ago?
Speaking of Actman drama, he got into a weird beef with another YouTuber whose videos I actually watch named G-Man. They got into like the dumbest beef on Twitter. It was like so stupid. It was like over like the Actman's video thumbnail. And the thing was, like, they were both kind of correct, but at the same time, it was like as much as I like G-Man's videos, he does this dumbass fucking thing on Twitter where he just like comes at people sideways out of nowhere for no reason. Like, like he's that guy. He's almost like the drunk uncle at the family event who like has to interject himself into everything.
Yeah, I did not know anything about this drama.
It wasn't really like a big drama, but they were just like they kept going like back and forth, and he was like they were both technically in the right because like the Act Man's thumb, he was literally just like as the Act Man was making a video about like arena shooters, the rise and fall of arena shooters, and then in his thumbnail he
Bro,
had like
bro, don't talk to me like I haven't seen that video. No, I'm just kidding.
he had like three different characters. He had like Gordon Freeman from Half-Life, he had like the Doom guy, and then he had Duke Nukem. So technically, two out of those three games are not arena shooters, but like they do sort of have arena shooter based multiplayer modes, kind of.
Well,
So he wasn't really all the way wrong with his thumbnail, but G-Man for some reason took it real personally. like like really came at him on Twitter. And it was weird. It wouldn't end either. Like, it just would not end.
dude, I'm gonna go to the G-Man's Twitter right now. What's his Twitter handle? G-Man at twitter.com.
I think it's G-Man lives in Australia because that's where he lives.
Bro, does he live, bro? Is he alive, bro? Is there
Kind of sounds like this, Sonny Jim, when he talks.
video games coming out in 2023? I'm most excited for the Act Man.
I'm ready to go see the Act Man in theaters. I could actually almost see like the Act Man becoming an actor. I don't know why or how, but it kind of makes sense in my head. I could see him in like war movies. Like he could play like the scared guy,
Who could? I'm sorry.
the
What's his
Act
name?
Man.
Yeah, the G-Man, I was reading the Twitter feed between the Twitter beef between them, and yeah, the G-Man is definitely taking it way too seriously.
Yeah. It's like, dude, I get that you're like, into shooters and shit, and he's an older dude, so he was probably around when arena shooters were super relevant, so he probably has more knowledge on it. But at the same time, it's like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah,
who cares? Acting
you
like
can
he's lying about like the nuclear launch codes or something.
you could tell he's an older dude because he keeps calling the Act Man quote my bro unquote, and that just sounds like something a boomer would say to sound young. My bro, your video is about arena shooters, and the indie scene has had plenty of them, which deserve highlighting. With your following, you could have ironically helped to make the very genre popular again. You spent 30 minutes claiming has become irrelevant. I want to clarify, I don't have beef with this guy, but he's putting
Hold
content up.
on.
It shouldn't be immune to criticism.
It's like, bro, like that's all this is beef. Like you wouldn't have even said anything to begin with if it wasn't just like all this boils down to is you don't like this guy for
I
some
have
reason.
I have a theory that like 90% of the internet for some reason is people claiming they don't care about something. And then it's like, bro, if you didn't care, you wouldn't have said anything at
I
all.
know, you would leave the conversation.
You would
Clearly
just
you
ignore
care.
it. But you obviously care. At least, like, you know those Facebook posts that are like I don't give a fuck about no bitches, blah blah blah. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, bro, if people who don't give a fuck and who don't care about the fact that people don't like them are usually just kind of shitty in silence. People are, if you don't shut up, scratching that.
Ladies and gentlemen, this podcast is proudly sponsored by
Me,
Warlegs.
at this point, I
Um
bring the podcast.
do you want to do the Warlegs ad read?
No, I refuse to do the Warlegs ad read because I don't support war.
Okay. He's just joking. We obviously both support this game and we put a lot of time into it.
I've never
Ladies and
even heard.
gentlemen, Warlegs is the brand spanking new hit MMORPG FPS strategy card game, where you get to control the battlefields of World War II, 3, and 4.
World War II was
And
probably the most unjust war.
I thought World War 4 was kind of bad. A lot of people got hurt.
Game if you're not a supporter of war, if you're a pacifist like me.
But Warlegs now has a unique promotion for our viewers. Just for viewers of the Big Boy District podcast, they're looking out for us specifically, and no one else. So if you use promo code BBD 487-896-148250989, pound symbol 0651. At the checkout, you can get 1.2% off your order. Wait, what are they ordering? It's a fucking game.
Well, I mean, they would
So
still call it war.
your copy of Warlegs for the PlayStation 5
Your digital copy of Warlegs, that is.
and Warlegs has actually just released a brand new graphical fidelity update with updated shaders. So if you're a PC guy, you can crank your NVIDIA settings up to max for this new Warlegs update. Also, they've dropped a brand new map. They don't say what the map is, it just says new map. Oh, it's a picture of a map. What? Okay.
Like you get just the picture of the map. It's not an actual map for the game.
Yeah, it's like for treasure hunters, I think. It's got an X on it.
This is a weird game. Why can't you just get us a normal sponsor?
So, Warlegs has another amazing offer for listeners of Big Boy District. If you enter... No... If you enter code BBD14810443724444691 pound symbol 1. Okay, I can't read all this. I'm sorry. I can't do it.
Put it in the description.
Okay. Link in the description. Play Warlegs today. Also, you can join our clan. We have a clan. We just started a clan. It's for listeners of the podcast. Join our Discord for cool clan stuff. And join our clan. And we'll play the game together. We'll steamroll this shit.
Nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, this podcast is proudly sponsored by Mr. Popper's Penguins. The movie Mr. Popper's Penguins. The studio decided they were pretty much done with that movie. Like, they kind of moved on from it. So, they're like, hey, you guys can pretend it's your sponsor if you want. We don't give a fuck.
And then, according to Google, it is an irreverent comedy featuring fun for the whole family.
Why does every movie description have to have fun for the family in it? Fun for the whole family. Every fucking movie has to be fun for the whole family.
So that you take the whole family and buy 5 tickets.
Can I legally make like an X-rated porno and put fun for the whole family on it?
No comment.
I mean, technically, I can think of many ways to get around that. Be like, hey, I didn't specify who in the family. Well, I mean, I did say the whole family. But,
Like,
okay, never mind. I don't have a way around this.
Yeah. No, here's the way around that. Fun for the whole step family.
Fun for your dad's other family. So Microsoft has recently released this
Your
AI.
dad had another life and another son named Cody.
What if I feel like that's something that actually happened to Quantum TV. Based on the way he like talks. Remember when he was all like, I just want to thank you all for sticking by me. Because we're going to send these gay ass fucking libtards to hell, or whatever he said in his rant. Remember that?
Yeah.
That was nuts.
Didn't that guy like disappear off the face of the earth after that Act-Man nonsense?
Quantum TV, probably. Who knows? Dude, X-Man probably fucking buried that guy, for being honest, dude. Like, that beef was getting so fucking real, and Act-Man just... He wanted to get it tactically ahead of that shit. So he, killed him.
How awful.
YouTube, I just want you to know that I do not support the cartel. Cartels are bad. Did you ever hear about what happened? This is not, like, recent at all, but I like, learned about this kind of recently. Like, you know, Elvidio Guzman? He's, like, El Chapo's son.
No.
So when El Chapo got, like, arrested, like, actually, and sent to jail, actually, like, never to escape again, finally, his son Elvidio Guzman became the head of the cartel. And he ended up getting arrested kind of on accident because he happened to be at like another cartel spot where the Mexican SWAT guys like raided it. So he got arrested and they like put him in jail, and the cartel responded by basically burning Mexico City to the fucking ground. Like they literally took over the city. and they demanded that
Don't they?
a video. Wait, what?
They pretty much just run the country, don't they?
Oh yeah, and this was the real display of that power, because when their leader got arrested, they literally just took over a city, caused a bunch of chaos, and they were like, yeah, you got to release him. So the government literally gave the cartel leader back because the cartel was threatening to pretty much destroy the fucking country.
You know what's crazy about the cartel in Mexico is they have their own cell phone network, they have drones, they have like created their own roads.
Seriously, it's so wacky because it's like it's it's not even like a racist thing because it's like yeah, like the actual Mexican people are like great, you know, they're like hardworking, family oriented fucking people. But at the end of the day, it's like y'all's government's fucked, you know. Like that's why so many of them like want to be in America because there's a reason Mexico sucks.
Oh yeah, Mexico's awful.
Yeah.
It's everything's tinted yellow all the time.
Oh, I know. Whenever you see Mexico in Breaking Bad, just know that that's exactly what it looks like everywhere, everywhere.
Dude, my cat, bro.
Ugh. I have a big fat ass.
Let me see if my cat wants to say anything. Say something. Say something. Say something. She refuses to meow.
Squeeze it a little harder.
Where's she going? Oh, there she is. Yeah, I kidnapped your cat. Have you ever like seen a little kid handle an animal and it just makes you so
Oh.
fucking anxious?
Yeah, dude. They always have to like pull dogs' tails and shit, and like
Like
instead of
wrap
petting
their
them, they just end up smacking them. It's like, why? Why are you so stupid, you dumbass little shit?
I feel like human babies like are stupider than animal babies, but they get smarter than animals do.
Yeah, like their animals are born with better instincts.
Human babies might be like the most useless thing on the planet.
Born too late to explore the world, born too early to explore the
What
stars,
is
born
that?
just in time to kill animals.
That's the entire human history. All we've ever done. Dude, do you want to join my Sigma male group?
Yeah.
What we do is we watch videos of really handsome dudes doing a really rude and badass thing, and then we make a really scrunched up face and nod in agreement.
No, I just gotta watch Andrew Tate content all the time.
I love Andy Tatey.
Andrew Tate. He's still in Romanian prison.
No, he was released.
Oh, he was?
Yep, just days
Oh.
ago.
Oh.
On bail, like he still has to go through a trial and everything.
So I hate Andrew Tate, but at the same time, like I didn't agree with his imprisonment because they didn't actually have him charged on anything. And I
Was it
think
with human trafficking or whatever?
that's what they were investigating him for. And here's the thing, like unless Andrew Tate has pretty much lied about everything he's ever said, I think he's definitely guilty. But they didn't have like any charges on him, and I guess they were like they left him in jail for that long because they were like trying to find evidence. But I just think that sets kind of a terrifying precedent for justice if you could
I
just
mean,
not be charged on anything but still be behind bars, and they're like, all right, don't worry, buddy, we'll find something. We'll find something to justify the fact that we have you here.
but it was in Eastern Europe. I mean, it wasn't
And
in America.
the really funny part about it was how he moved to Romania because he was like, yeah, the Romanian government's super corrupt and I can just flex all over them. He moves there and immediately gets thrown in jail. So like that was pretty hilarious. And like It's like, dude, if you're going somewhere where you could, like, you know, have more freedom to do whatever weird criminal shady shit you're doing because the government's more corrupt, maybe don't make a video saying that. Because do you really think that the government's gonna like to hear that? You really think they're gonna be like, oh, this guy's moving to our country, this big influential dude, and he's calling us corrupt? Yeah, like, they're gonna fucking come after you, you idiot. Like,
Are you serious? They're gonna get us, bro?
I'll be able to get away with anything in Romania, bro. This government's so corrupt. God, you guys are a joke. I love it here because you guys are a joke. And then they immediately come and arrest him. Like, there's no way they didn't do that on purpose because they were just, like, trying to flex on him.
Yeah, like I said, it did happen in Eastern Europe, so, like, I don't know why he was expecting human rights.
Seriously.
But, I don't know, like I said, if he is a human trafficker, fuck him.
I absolutely think that he is, but I mean, until, you know, they actually find evidence, I mean, I'm not just gonna be like, oh, he definitely is for sure, and he belongs in jail. It's like, I think he probably does belong in jail, but, like, get the evidence first. Get an actual case rolling, you know, because you can't just take someone's freedom away because of, like, you know, fucking what you think if you don't have hard evidence to actually support it and build a case.
Agreed. Aguido.
Quiet.
Agree.
Do you hear that?
Nope.
That's the sound of savings!
No.
Ladies and
more
gentlemen,
sponsors.
this podcast is proudly sponsored by Savings!
Savings on what?
So, it's been a while since we've heard from our good friends at none other than, you guessed it, Dreamco VCR!
God damn it. No, it hasn't. They're literally been in the majority of episodes now.
So Dreamco VCR they're still out there. They're still selling VCRs, still trying their fucking ass off in this really, really hardcore, fast-paced environment. It's really hard. Buy a VCR,
But they're
please.
selling VCRs.
Exactly. What's the fucking problem?
Oh my god, just read the ad and get me my nickel because that's all we're gonna get.
Alright, so this is a long ad read, so buckle up. Ladies and gentlemen, the Nintendo GameCube is failing. The Sega Dreamcast is failing.
I hate this so much.
The 2002 Sony Elite DVD player is failing. Why? Because they don't have what it takes!
You have peaked that microphone several times during this ad reading, just so you know.
VCRs have what it takes. You can drop that fucking thing down a balcony, down a flight of stairs. You could sit on it. You could fall down on it. You can throw it to your uncoordinated ass friend who can't catch for shit, and then it just hits him and it falls on the ground. And it still works. And all you have to do, all you have to do, just remember to rewind the fucking tape so that the next guy can watch the movie from the beginning.
Is this a long ad read because it's written long or because you have decided to take Edward James Olmos?
My cadence has nothing to do with it. But in case you're wondering, there's like 6 more paragraphs. Dreamco VCR. The VCR of your dreams.
This is making me so uncomfortable.
Alright, that was it actually. That wasn't so bad, huh?
No, it was terrible, and I don't want to be sponsored by Dreamco anymore. I'm going to call them, and I'm going to tell them that we're not.
We just made 3 cents.
I don't want it. We give it back because you don't deserve it.
Fine. Alright, I need you to find a sponsor then, if you're so good at this.
If I found a sponsor, we would make too much money. We would be rich right now. And then we
Fine.
wouldn't.
I'm gonna challenge you to find us a sponsor who sells volcano insurance. Can you do that? Make us some money with volcano insurance?
Are you from a different planet or something?
I'm over here making us money with VCRs, and nobody fucking buys these anymore. You know how many
Yes.
you know how many VCRs got sold last year? God damn it. 3. 3 VCRs.
That actually kind of sounds low. I feel like it must have been at least a couple hundred.
No, it was 3. Granted, they were all 3 from Dreamco, but they were all 3 purchased by me too.
CRs were sold in 2022.
I'm gonna guess like 50.
440,000.
Whoa. And you're over here making fun of me for raking in this sponsor.
No, that's still nothing. You understand? That's still like a small town.
That's a whole town of people using VCRs. Where do you think those VCRs were sold? Because I'm gonna guess Alaska.
It's albums, so that doesn't include video at all. That's literally just cassette albums. So never mind. No, shut up.
Well, we've been going
up.
for almost 2 hours.
Shut your mouth.
Do you have any closing comments for the fans?
Yeah, don't buy VCRs. Don't buy Dreamco VCRs.
No. Oh dear boy. Buy VCRs, please. Please buy them. just like a British guy on like an old Wild West style wagon, just rolling around selling VCRs.
Nope, zero. Actually, 0 new VCRs were sold in 2022. There's nobody making new VCRs as of 2018.
Yeah, they are. Dreamco is. Dreamco makes their own.
Don't buy VCRs. Don't buy Dreamco VCRs.
Wait, are Dreamco VCRs refurbished, or are they brand new? They're brand new. They're brand new.
Cody,
They're new.
Cody,
Yeah.
you're dead.
No, I'm not.
You're dead to me.
I'm kicking back, getting ready to watch some Dreamco VCR.
Just end the podcast. Just end. This is my. I say it every time. This is my final one. This is my final.
All right, that's fine. That's
I
fine.
better
We'll work
get
something out.
paid for this one. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
I better get fucked. Yeah.
Bro, when does this YouTube money start showing up?
Yeah,
Let's just start selling this podcast everywhere we can.
I got $4.
Tell everyone we know about it. Like, get our parents to start watching.
I got $4.
I guarantee if my mom could hear this, she would just be like, "What the actual hell? What the fuck? What happened?"
I wouldn't want my parents to know about this.
I'm gonna send this to your parents.
You don't know my parents.
I'm gonna find the episode where you say the most controversial things possible, and then I'm gonna send them that with the timestamps.
You can't because I don't just commercial things. Everything I say is rooted in fact.
I just send them like the video and then the timestamps, and then every like timestamp I just put like a crazy emoji next to it, like whoa, whoa, whoa. Listen to these crazy takes. Whoa. Can you believe he said this one?
Woo. Woo. I would just say that you used an AI to mimic my voice, and I wouldn't claim any of it.
I would say that I don't know how. And then they wouldn't know what to believe.
I would no, they would believe me because I'm just handsomer than you. Therefore, I'm more trustworthy. Also, my penis is bigger.
My balls are bigger though.
Oh yeah, well, my ball is better.
Nobody cares if you have big balls. It's all about the cock size.
Yeah. Are you jealous, Cody?
I don't know.
Do you want? Should I just throw a picture of my dick up in the Discord right now?
Yeah, let's see it.
All right. Here we go. Here we go. I'm actually about to send it through, and it's fucking massive.
E E E E E E E E.
There you go. See how big that bad boy is?
Wow, it's one whole equal sign.
Dude, I can't make this shit up. The ladies love it.
Alright, well, I think that's going to be the end of this episode of BBD, everybody. This might be the longest episode yet.
Yes, sir. We did like 2.5 hour sessions.
Yeah, so this episode's probably going to be about 2 hours long, give or take. I'm going to have to edit it together, and then we'll find out. So let's fucking do it. Alright, everybody, thank you for listening to this week's episode. Bye-bye.